from the Opus Radio News Center, this is an Opus Radio News Update.
And a good Friday morning to you. I'm Al Quartemont with a web news update. Senate President Joel Chasson's plan to redesign the state's 39 districts and add a new minority district has now made its way through a committee and will be heard by the full chamber next week. The corresponding House committee delaying a vote on remapping the 105 House districts. Both plans, as they stand, would greatly affect central Louisiana, with the Senate plan splitting Rapides Parish into separate districts while putting England Air Park under representation by lawmakers from Natchitoches. The House plan would also see current local representatives Herbert Dixon and Chris Roy having to face each other in a runoff for one of the new minority districts. Alexandria Mayor Jacques Roy and Pineville Mayor Clarence Fields, both in Baton Rouge yesterday, expressing their opposition to the proposals because of the dramatic changes that would be brought about local representation in central Louisiana. Also in Baton Rouge yesterday, dozens of people staging a protest at the Capitol opposing the Jindal administration plan to sell state prisons and hire private companies to run some facilities as a way to help the budget shortfall. The protesters included prison workers, their family members, and local union leaders. They say the sale of Avoyelles, Wynn, and Allen Parish prisons would force the layoff of state prison workers. The workers say that while they could be rehired for the private facilities, it would be at lower pay rates and fewer benefits. A hopeful sign for the return of drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. The government giving Chevron Corporation approval for the first permit for completely new exploration in the Gulf, saying the oil company has satisfied requirements to show that it could contain a subsea blowout, much like the one that happened to BP nearly a year ago. If the trend holds, more Louisiana taxpayers will be filing online this year. The State Department of Revenue saying more than 1 million individual state tax returns have been filed electronically so far. It's the earliest point in the tax filing season that the 1 million mark has been hit. 90% of all returns filed in the state this year have been electronic. Let's take a look at some of the local events happening this weekend in our area. The best voices in music all on one stage this weekend. It's the 4th annual Music Legends Concert to raise money for the American Cancer Society. Members of the community will dress up as their favorite singers. Happens tonight and tomorrow at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. at the Crest Theater in the Rapides Foundation Building. Tickets $10. Also on stage tonight, Peabody Magnet High School's performance of Don't Shoot Me happens at 7 p.m. Admission $10. Another important fundraiser happening tomorrow morning out at England Air Park. It's the Alexandria Veterans Affairs Medical Center Employee Association sponsoring a Freedom 5K and 1 mile fun run and walk. On-site registration 6:30. They'll have a special ceremony at 7:30, and then the race starts at 8. Registration $25 for the 5K run, $15 for the 1 mile fun run and walk. The event part of the Welcome Home event to honor combat veterans and their families, and all proceeds will go to the Wounded Warrior Project. An evening of music tomorrow night at the Kent House. Blues rockers Honey Island Swamp Band will perform at 6:30. You are invited to bring your picnic, or they will have the Spirits food truck there. Tickets $25. Big Saturday up in Natchitoches. Blooming on the Bricks tomorrow from 9 to 2. Also, Art Along the Bricks on Front Street, the Garden Symposium at the Natchitoches Events Center, and then a butterfly release on the downtown stage at 3 p.m. And if all that's not enough, it's the 16th Annual Jazz and R&B Festival fundraiser, 7 p.m. at the Natchitoches Events Center. It's the littlest thing in sports entertainment. We're talking literally extreme midget wrestling. That's right. At the Rapides Parish Coliseum tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Tickets $25 ringside, $20 general admission. Kids are $12. In Friday sports, the LSU Tigers looking to bounce back after being swept by Florida last weekend, then that loss to UL Lafayette Tuesday. Tigers will be in Athens, Georgia to face the Bulldogs in a 3-game series that gets underway tonight at 5:30. Big series for the LSU Wildcats. They host ETBU in a key ASC matchup as first pitch tonight, 6 p.m. at Billy Allgood. LSU Alexandria also hosts Houston Victoria at 7, and NSU will be at Texas Arlington. Meanwhile, shot at history for LC softball pitcher Renee Schwarzenberg. The Marksville senior will look to set the school record for career wins when the Lady Wildcats host Chapman at 5 in a non-conference doubleheader. Schwarzenberg 10-1 this season. Her 67 career wins tied for both the ASC and LC records set by Sandy Clark between 2003 and 2006. And what a game for the Hornets last night. Emeka Okafor banking in a 20-foot shot at the regulation buzzer. That forced overtime. Then reserve Aaron Gray scoring 6 points in the extra session, leading the Hornets to a 121-117 victory over the Utah Jazz. The bad news, Hornets may have lost David West to a serious knee injury as he left that game late and had to be taken out on a wheelchair. He'll be having an MRI later today. More news on our Truth 104.3 FM Facebook page. Have a great weekend. I'm Al Quartemont.